So we were discussing about the functions and scope and few examples. We started with the Fibonacci sequence to check whether a number is a prime or not by defining and using functions. Okay, then and few other exercises based on the case studies. We have checked, evaluated the body mass index. To check whether the three sides of the given length can build a triangle, and calculation of a factorial by using a recursive functions. We have two more exercises to be completed in this chapter 3.5, practicing with designing and writing functions. So in this session, we'll complete the rest two and we'll proceed to the next chapter. So today we are going to discuss two more examples on designing and writing functions. That is, accept a string and calculate the number of uppercase letters and lowercase letters. And the second exercise will be identifying, checking, noticing the unique elements in the list. Okay. Now the first exercise, accept a string and calculate a number of uppercase and lowercase letters. We know string is a group of collection of characters which could be a combination of lowercase and uppercase. Any name start with uppercase letter as a first character and continued. Okay. So what we do, step one, we define a string function. Okay. And we also use the concept of dictionary to define the uppercase equal to 0 and lowercase equal to 0. Two variables representing the uppercase and lowercase. So because our objective is to count the number of uppercase letters and lowercase letters. Okay. So we define those two variables and initialize to 0, because whenever there is occurrence of upper or lowercase, it needs to be incremented. So we define the variable and initialize to 0. So define a function and a dictionary with the two variables, upper and lower, initialize to 0 at the beginning. Right? Then what could be the next step? We have to scan the string from first character to last character. So we use a for loop for character, a control variable in string. Okay, in string. S is nothing but the function. Okay, in the function for the first character to the last character in the function yes. Okay, what you have to do, check whether it is a upper or lower by using the user defined function. C dot is upper. Okay, this will return true. If it is true, the variable which is defined in the dictionary is incremented by 1. Right? Similarly, to check or to count the lowercase, we use C dot lower, okay, and we use a ladder. If ladder statement, elif C dot is lower, true, the variable lowercase which is defined in the dictionary is incremented. It's very simple. Define a function and two variables, uppercase and lowercase. We are defining the two variables because they are used inside the function. So any variables which is used must be defined. Okay, that's a rule. So we initialize to both 0. Whenever there is an occurrence of uppercase or lowercase characters, it is incremented by 1 by scanning, okay, from first character to last character. So this statement scans, okay, traverses the characters in the string one after the other. So while traversing, while traveling from first character to the last character, if the character is happen to be upper, it is incremented. Okay, else if lower, it is incremented. Okay. In case if the string may have also other special characters, blank spaces, white spaces. Okay, in that is the case, what we have to do, we have to use the else part, else pass, simply ignore. our objective is to count the uppercase and lowercase. Any other special characters or blank spaces, we ignore it. Okay, so we had already discussed the ladder if should have if and elif, and by default else statement. Okay, so if lower upper incremented, else if lower increment the concerned variable, right? In the case of other characters, mean special characters or other identifications, blank spaces, ignore it. So the pass will just push to the next, will increment or will move forward. Okay, will be traversed to the next character or will shift, switch to the next character, right? Because a string may have a blank space. When we write our name, first name, a blank space, and then we have second name, blank space, and then third name are our initials, isn't it? So a string may also have a blank spaces, special characters and all. If that is the case, they are ignored by using the else part. Okay. So our objective here is to count the number of uppercase and lowercase. Define a function with two variables. Okay, they are okay initialized to 0. So a for loop which is scan traverse checks from first character to the last character in the S. S is a function name, right? So while traversing, if there is an occurrence of uppercase, if the condition C dot is upper, C dot is upper is a user defined function, okay, and is lower is again a function, right? Character functions. If that is the true, those variables are incremented. If both neither uppercase nor lowercase, then it is just skipped. Okay. At the end, once the till the last character is traversed, then we have to print the original string. Then we should have the calculation of uppercase and lowercase characters. So this is the algorithm pseudocode used to count or to calculate the number of upper and lowercase letters. So the count will result an integer, a positive integer value. Fine. So hope you have understood the algorithm or the pseudocode. Now let us switch on to PyCharm and check whether how it works. Right. So we start with the definition of the function def. Okay. The function name str. Okay, and we pass an argument yes, right? So then we have a dictionary, right? So D is equal to which defines the two variables, right? Uppercase. So dictionary should have two components, right? One left at the value, I mean the variable and its corresponding value. Hope you remember the concept of dictionary. Every dictionary we have two segments. The left side, the left segment, left part describes the variable and the right part describes its value. So in the beginning, it is initialized to 0, right? The next variable is lowercase, which is also initialized to :0, right? Okay. Next step, the loop. We need to scan the string, right, from first character till the last character. So for a control variable, it could be I or C. Let us assume C in the string. Okay, the string here is the S. S is the parameter, I mean which is collected from the calling function, right? So for C in S :, okay, and check whether it is a upper or lower. So we use an if condition. If C dot is upper, a function which checks okay that type. So if it is upper, if the condition is true, we have to increment the variable which is defined in the dictionary. So dictionary D of uppercase, right? Increment by 1 is equal to 1, right? Otherwise, elif. Elif C dot is lower, right? Okay. Colon D, the lower case, incremented by 1, increment by 1. Neither upper nor lower, then we have the default block, that is else. Else pass. Ignore the blank spaces and non-upper, non-lower characters. Fine. Anyhow, okay. So this completes the function definition. Now we need to display the output, right? So print. Okay, so first we have to ensure our program accepts the string, right? So let us display the input properly. So the original string is the original. What is the original string? That is nothing but parameter is yes, right? Fine. Print number of uppercase character. Okay, uppercase character we need to display, which is nothing but the dictionary value, right? D of upper case. Right. Next, print the number of lowercase character to D lowercase. Kindly note it has to a variable enclosed in between double quotes. Okay, fine. So this completes the function definition. So through the parameter, okay, everything is done, right? Now we need to supply the value to the parameter. So it is a calling function to the function. So string input, enter a string, right? So this function str, it's a called function. This input will supply an argument to the parameter. So S is a parameter which collects. So unless without this statement, this may work, but we may not get the output. We have defined a function with a parameter inside the function and check the uppercase and lowercase. We have also displayed. So this parameter should get a value input by the called function. So str, a function is called here, and input is supplied to the parameter. So argument enter the string, the form of through the input function is supplied. This argument will supply a string to the original function, and accordingly they are calculated. So C, for every character, okay, in the string, the parameter either upper or lower, they are checked, incremented accordingly. At the end, the last character by default will be a blank space. Then it is ignored. The function just stopped after the last character. Okay, is it clear? Any doubts? So let us check, are there any spelling mistakes? Have we missed any part? So since it is not that no underline observed here, okay, we assume that the statement has no errors, mistakes. Let us run the program and check the output, how it works. So enter a string. Right? Fine. So we have typed a mixed string. Right? Christ University, a blank space. Fine. So it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 characters, excluding blank spaces. Right. So the total number of characters are 16, out of which 7 are uppercase letters: C, H, T, U, E, R, and T. Again, T are uppercase, and remaining 9 are lowercase. So our program should result appropriately. Okay. So in case neither upper or lower, which means a blank space, that should be paused, ignore, and proceed to the next character. So that is what our program meant for, right? Okay, so the original string has been reprinted, displayed again. So this statement ensures all the characters are scanned, read properly, because we are using the for loop for each character in the string. S is a parameter, okay, which collects input from the statement called function str. Kindly note, when we define a function with a parameter, they must be supplied input through the called function. Okay, so the last statement str input string is a called function which accepts a string argument and supply input to the calling function definition, and accordingly, so this is the body of the function which calculates the complete body of the function, calculates uppercase, lowercase, check, increment appropriately, and display it. The original string is displayed without any issues. The same string is displayed. So our program has accepted the entire string as it is entered by the user and calculates the number of lowercase and uppercase characters. Fine. This is a one example by using the functions. Any doubts? So we can have different logics. So a good application is expected to have a usage of utilization of all the functions as far as possible. So in this example, we had used dictionary to perform these operations. Fine. Any doubts, queries from your side? Please note we are using dictionary. Dictionary, here we have a segment as every. So the component of the dictionary should have two segments: variable name and its value. Both are separated by colon, and different segments are separated by comma, and they must be enclosed in between a pair of braces. Right? So we use the function is upper to identify the uppercase. Is upper, increment the variable by 1. And its counterpart, lower, will check the lower case. If neither upper nor lower, ignore. Okay, so the blank space here in between the T and U is ignored. Okay, not only blank spaces, even including characters also, they will be ignored. Okay, so let us check with another example with a special case and lower case, characters, blank spaces. A blank space, let us have some special characters. Okay, right. Right. So our input has a uppercase, lowercase, blank space. Okay, some special characters, operators are there. So the same Christ University, the number of characters are 16, right? The original string has been displayed. So this statement accepts the complete input without ignoring any part. C, H, T, U, S, and I. So we have 6 uppercase letters and 10 lowercase letters. The blank space and the special characters are ignored with the help of this statement. Is it clear? Any doubts? Queries from your side, please. Okay, fine. Moving on to the last examples in this chapter. Yeah, accept a list and returns a new list with unique elements. Okay, input a list. What we are supposed to do, create a new list with unique elements. Unique. What does unique mean? Any idea? What does unique mean? The term unique represents what? Can you post your response in the chat window? What do you mean by unique? Yes, exactly. You are right, Jashan. Good. Non-repetitive. For a simple example is your register number is a unique, right? It's a single value which should not be repeated at any cost. Universal IP address, it's a universal value. Register number, your bank account number, PAN number, those are unique, right? So we accept a list with repeated values, right? Copied values, duplicate list, and we'll be creating a new list with unique, non-repetitive values, data. That's our objective. So what? Input the data, define a list with unique, and a parameter L will take the value from the called function, right? So then we have create an array. Initially, the list is empty. X equal to empty list. So for I mean A is a control variable in L. So L represents the parameter, right? Parameter list. So for every variable or list or data in the list. So how to calculate unique? Not in function. So not in is a standard function which compares and results true or false, which is similar to equal operator. Which is similar to equal operator. It's an operator. It's also another operator, but expressed in keyword. So operator. It's a symbol which is equivalent to a keyword not in. If A not in X, X already we had defined a blank list. So by default, the first value will be a unique. Okay, and the second, the comparison not in. Okay, not kindly note not in is a keyword which is equivalent to the operator equal to. Okay, so by default, first value is a unique. The second value is compared. Okay, for A in L incremented. Next data in the list is compared. If the condition is true, if it's not equal, then the A, the data is append. Append is an operation used to add into the list, original list. X dot append A. If the condition is true, means A not in X. If they are not equal, they are not similar. Okay, if it's a unique, a different value, for example, the second number is 2, the first number is 1. So 1, A is equal to 1 is not in X. So it is a different. So X dot append A, the second value A is appended in the list 1, 2. The third value 3. Okay, let us assume 3. Again, 3 is not in the X, so it is appended. For example, the fourth value, again, it is a 3. The condition fails. So if not in X, it should be append. So when the condition fails, the if statement is skipped, ignored. So the if block will be skipped and return X. The list 1 comma 2 comma 2 is will be list returned, and again the next character is scanned. Fine. So print the unique list from first character till the last character. They are traversed one after the other. Only the unique value. So the values which satisfy the condition are appended. The rest are ignored. Again will return to the list. Then from the input it is checked, compared, appended if it is unique. It will not append when the condition is failed. Right? So every element, first element is compared with second element. If it is unique, they will be added. Second and third compared, unique, added. Otherwise, the third element is compared, unique, it will add. Otherwise, fourth element. So till the end of the list, it will be done. Got it? So accept a list of mixed data. So this mixed data, the list will have unique as well as repeated data, duplicated data. So a list which is a combination of duplicated data can be retrieved, returned with unique list by using this function. So we are using the operation called not in, a keyword which is equivalent to the operator equal to. Okay, listen, this operator will, as it's an assignment operator. It's an assignment operator, and double equal represents a comparison operator. Got it? So let us check your program. Okay, unique. So first we define the function name UNI underscore list, and the parameter, let us take a simple L, right? So print the statement, the input list. Okay. So define a blank list. At the beginning, the list is blank. For a control variable A, in the parameter is L, right? So for loop n with a colon for A in L. Now we need to compare if the character or the data A not in the keyword which compares. Okay, compares in the list. The list here defined as X, right? Colon. The condition is satisfied, then X dot append. Okay, A. So that the data is appended into the empty list in the beginning. Okay. Otherwise, in case if the condition is not satisfied, and return the X. Return to the list to check for that next element, next data. Okay. So this will continue till the last element. Okay. So this return statement should be outside the for loop, right? Now we have defined the function. So it is important to supply the argument. Okay. The unique list. We should know the unique list, right? UNI, what is the name of the function defined? LIST, right? Okay. So here we can supply the value 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 3 comma 3 4 comma 4 5. Okay, let us limit with 8 values. Is it clear? So this statement, when this statement is called, the arguments is nothing but the list is supplied to the parameter. So L accepts, L is a parameter, which is when When the function is defined with the parameter, it looks for input and collected through the argument. Please note the variable in the function definition is a parameter. The equivalent variable, counterpart of the variable defined in the called function is called argument. Okay, so a list of data input are supplied to the parameters. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. It's a list of values assigned to L, the parameter. So now L is equal to thing, the input list L. The empty blank array is defined X. For A, the first value by default will be unique, not in X. In the beginning, the array is blank, so it will be automatically appended. The second element is not equal, isn't it? 1 and 2 are different, so the condition is satisfied, true. So the A is, which is 2, is appended into the list X, right? And it will continue as long as the last element is traced. Right? Run the program and check. Yes. So the input list, original list, what we have supplied in the form of arguments are the same, 1, 2, 3. So this statement confirms that the input list have been supplied appropriately. No data are missed. So with the provided input, the function calculates the unique elements with the help of the keyword not in. Right? So from with the list, the unique data 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are displayed. This is done with the help of the keyword not in. So here what we have done, a static list, already predefined list, data, okay, are supplied, and accordingly the program has calculated. If you like to make it dynamic, okay, I don't want to give static value. I would like to give at the time of execution. Dynamic means at the time of execution, at the time of task carried out. Okay, then we can modify, instead of a static list, the call function could be modified to accept input and supply to the parameter. This can be done with the help of this program, which already I have done for the sake of time. Right? So list, initially it is a blank, enter n to have the input entered at the time of execution. Okay. So for I in range of n, 0 to n minus 1, the inputs will be appended into the list. So this piece, this part of the application will have a list created dynamically. Okay, list. So this list is a dynamic list supplied as an argument. So the function unique list, which has a parameter L, collect the input arguments list, which has been entered dynamically at the time of execution. Right? So a list which is a blank can be added, created dynamically with the help of a for loop and append function. Okay, so this is a list is called here and used as an argument. This argument dynamically created will supply values to the parameter L, and as usual the not in function will check for unique. Right? So this program is a static list, and this one will have dynamically created list. Let us run the program and check. Enter n. So in the previous example we had only 7 values. Now let us check. Enter n. Let us have 10 input. Enter the elements 1, Okay, so it will take 10. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. So far 6 done, right? 4, 4, 5. Okay, 5, 6. Yes. So the 10 elements of data are entered. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5. So there are 10 elements, right? Data. Out of that 10, the unique 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are calculated. Right? Right? So we can solve the problem by using a static list or by having the dynamic list. Right? So any doubts? Any queries from your side? Right? So with this, we have come to the end of this part, right? So we have yes, covered all the exercises. So kindly note, this kind of programs will be asked in the NSEM examinations. Okay, so all we need to understand is define a function, design the problem, and write statements to execute any problem is asked. So the idea is you have to define function. Okay, if any program, whatever be the exercise or queries, first we need to define the function, its appropriate variables. Okay, so accept the input, use if condition or for loop to solve the logic, and finally output the function. So when a function is defined, it must be called. Okay, so with the function definition should have the parameter, and the calling function, the call function should have arguments. Arguments are the one which supply data input to the parameters. Okay, and finally output statement will display the result. Right? Okay, so with this we have come to the end of this chapter 3.5.